Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and I hope you all had yourselves a wonderful weekend and are ready to start off a brand new week in your lives and, of course, in the world of Destiny. Now, these next 2 weeks are going to be extremely important, probably some of the most important weeks when it comes to Destiny 2's lifespan. For a lot of fans, the next 2 weeks are going to make or break the future for the series, so all eyes are definitely on Bungie and what's going to be coming in the next few weeks. And of course, the reason for that is, in the next few weeks, we're actually going to be learning about the upcoming summer content as well as the end of summer expansion that's going to be dropping for Destiny in about 3 months. The beginning of this news drip is of course going to be starting tomorrow when Bungie goes live with their Destiny 2 Year 2 reveal live stream. It's happening Tuesday, June 5th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. They're going to be going live on their Twitch channel and talking about some of the future content for D2. And then of course, after that, a week later, we've got E3 where we'll no doubt be seeing even more of it. So a lot of people are waiting and watching to see what's going to be coming from Destiny 2 and whether or not it's going to be bringing the kinds of radical changes that we're really looking forward to. And of course, whenever we get into crunch time like this, we have leaks. Sometimes real, sometimes fake. Whenever we're near these content releases or reveals, we always have leaks, usually from 4chan, that speculate and detail some of the upcoming content to the game. Sometimes these leaks have been absolutely on target, and other times, well, they've been nowhere near the mark. But we'll be covering this newest leak either way, mainly because it's fun. So over the course of this weekend, after it was announced that the Destiny 2 Year 2 reveal was going to be coming up this week, we got a rather curious series of posts over on 4chan's V-board. This leak supposedly detailed some of the incoming content for the Comet expansion for later this year, and here's what they had to say. The Comet expansion is going to be called Summoning of the Nine and will be released on September 7th. The storyline itself is going to revolve around Prince Uldren of the Reef, trying to resurface with an army of fallen soldiers looking to rescue his sister from the Nine. And in response to this, the Nine are forced to unleash a race called the Nastareth to stop Uldren's army. This is going to be a brand new enemy race of void demons, air quote. The Nastareth are led by Nezarec, the main antagonist of the expansion beside Uldren. And the leak goes on to describe Nezarec as a former 10th member of the Nine who was banished for betraying his brethren. The leak goes on to state that the new raid expansion is going to be called the Tomb of Eternity and revolves around stopping Nezarec for good, and it takes place in a new area called the Void. Content-wise, the leak says that this expansion is going to have 10 new story missions and 4 new strikes, 2 new destinations including the Reef and the Void, and a brand new cooperative activity known as the Court. And that this is indeed going to be a brand new PvE activity that's completely new to the Destiny franchise. And that was pretty much everything covered in the first of these leak post reveals on 4chan's V-board. Now, I've got to say, there's some interesting stuff in here. Summoning of the Nine, kind of a neat name. September 7th is kind of a weird release date. That's a Friday, as I recall. The 4th would be the Tuesday of that week, and usually Destiny DLCs and game releases in general release on Tuesdays rather than Fridays. Although it is important to note that Destiny 2's original release date was going to be on a Friday. It was going to be a Friday back in 2017, and they pushed it back to like Tuesday or Wednesday or something. But yeah, usually the DLC comes out on Tuesday, so we'll have to see about that. The storyline revolving around Prince Uldren is definitely possible. We know that you find his ship in that lost sector on Mars. And usually little story nods like that give a hint at where the story is going to be going in the near future. So I could definitely see Prince Uldren popping up in the upcoming DLC one way or another. And I absolutely believe in the notion that he would be looking to save or bring back his sister. I never thought that the Queen of the Reef was really actually dead after the beginning of the Taken King in D1. So I would say the notion of this story revolving around Prince Uldren trying to save his sister definitely isn't that far-fetched. Now, when it comes to the Nine and the Nastareth and Nezarec, that's where things get a little bit more interesting. The identity and revelation surrounding the Nine have definitely been hinted at within Destiny 2, you know, with Trials of the Nine. If you sit back and listen to the vendors there, she talks quite a bit about the Nine, how they watch over things, and how you should be meeting them very soon. So I wouldn't be too surprised if, more of the Nine popped up within this DLC. I'm not sure about the whole Nezarec thing. If you don't remember Nezarec, there's quite a few references to him in Destiny 2, including via the Warlock exotic, Nezarec Sin. I can still remember the flavor text from that exotic. He is that which is an end, and he shall rise again. And if you go to that exotic and read the lore tab for it, it talks a bit about Nezarec, kind of building him up as something that cannot die, something that's going to be returning, and that his sin is that he will never cower when the dusk does fall. I remember that's probably one of my favorite bits of the lore tabs in Destiny 2. So it'd be very interesting if we're going to be learning more about Nezarec within this coming expansion. I said on the Planet Destiny podcast yesterday that if during Bungie's livestream tomorrow, if Nezarec's name pops up anywhere, you could probably put a lot more faith into this 4chan leak. And then of course for the other stuff like the 10 story missions, the 4 strikes, I would say if that 4 strikes is real, it's probably 3 strikes plus a PlayStation exclusive. 10 story missions isn't really too out of the ordinary when it comes to an expansion. I think the Taken King had like 8, maybe 9 like real story missions before you finished up that story and then picked up on the post-campaign stuff. So 10 story missions wouldn't be too out of the ordinary. The 2 new destinations in the Reef, well, we've already seen what looks to be the Reef in the reveal picture, and the Void. Very interested in seeing what that's going to be, if this is indeed real. But also, the brand new PvE activity that's talked about in this post, the Court, it wasn't really very well explained. So, this leaker came back a day or so later and posted another post talking a bit more about the Court and giving us some more details on what exactly it's going to be. Here's what they had to say then. Court is going to be a code name for the upcoming PvE activity, and from what they've heard, it involved a new type of space-based combat that's completely new to the series. To me, that sounds like ship-based combat, which is something we've been wanting in Destiny for a long time, kind of a pipe dream there. He goes on to say that the Reef's Vestian Web will be one of the explorable destinations. It'll be the second largest destination in the series behind the EDZ, and is said to hold many different secrets and puzzles akin to the Dreadnought from Destiny 1. The leaker then goes on to detail some of the Nastareth and says they're described as harbingers given physical form, and the 9 aid you in destroying them to repay for their mistake of setting the Nastareth free. He goes on to say that the story begins with Uldren opening up some sort of dimensional anomaly above the remnants of Ceres, allowing him to enter the Void, and that random weapon rules are coming with the expansion's launch, along with various other changes to the game. And there we go, that's pretty much it for everything covered in these 2 4chan leaks concerning the expansion for Destiny 2. There's a lot of stuff in there. We've already talked about leak number 1. Leak number 2, a new space-based combat PvE game. I mean, I would wonder how Bungie would fit that into the game as it is right now. I would love it. It would give me a fantastic reason to actually hold on to all of those legendary ships that I've got, since I'd assume it's tied into the ships that you're actually flying. That sounds really cool. I would love for that game mode to be a real thing. It's something I think we've been asking for really since Destiny 1 came out. And I remember that being something as part of a previous leak where they, if you remember way back before the Leviathan dropped, there were leaks saying that, oh man, the beginning section of the Leviathan's going to have you flying around in ships and like getting into dogfights and stuff like that. So I've always been a fan of that sort of thing, and it would be very interesting to see that in a new PvE game mode for D2. It's also worth noting that the Nastareth have actually popped up within the Grimoire before. If you look at the Grimoire for Psylocke the Defiled, he mentions the Nastareth. So most of the parts of this leak have some sort of basis within the lore background for Destiny. That's usually a common theme amongst these leaks anyway. So as with anything else, take all of this with a gigantic grain of salt. I just wanted to talk a bit about this leak, some of the things that it's putting forward before this live stream tomorrow. So if tomorrow comes out and like they start talking about Nezarec, the Void, and Nastareth, you can go ahead and probably put a little bit more faith in these 4chan leaks. But for right now, we'll consider it as some fun fan fiction. But alright Guardians, that is going to be it for this one. What are your thoughts on these 4chan leaks? Does any of this sound pretty cool to you? I know I would like the space shooting combat thing with the Court. I think that sounds super cool. The leaker goes on to talk a bit about how this expansion is going to address all of the main issues that Destiny 2 has right now. Again, pipe dream, that's like wishful thinking, but hey, we can dream, right? But anyways, be sure to leave me your thoughts on all this stuff down in the comment section below. Do you believe it? Do you disbelieve it? Be sure to let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 news. We're gonna have a busy week this week, so make sure you're staying tuned. But alright, it's gonna be it for this one. Thank you Guardians so much for watching. And as always, I'm the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.